One day I said, honey, what do I have to do to get you to give me a little kiss? And she said, give me chloroform.
That's a joke. You can edit that out.
How did we meet? Well, we met at North High School in the band. I was the president of the band and she was the secretary. And I said, would you consider playing your clarinet and marching? Now the only thing I want to tell you is that I don't want you playing your clarinet. I want you to march, but I don't want you playing. You can hum into it, but not to play it. So that went over like a lead balloon.
I did it though, didn't
But
I?
she did it. Yeah. So that's how we first
For the sake of the band.
had contact. Right.
We had a lot of fun together. We had fun in the band. Band trips. We didn't take long band trips, but going to other schools to play.
Yeah, we never got out of the city of Columbus.
Yeah.
Those were just trips to schools.
But after football games, we'd go to Marcelli's Pizza and get pizza and a Coke.
That cost all of 75 cents for a medium pizza, cheese pizza, and 2 Cokes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'd go to Gable's Farm, which was out on Go Down Road. And it was a big farm and they had an ice cream area up front. And you could go in there and get an ice cream cone, double dip, and I mean double dip,
They're
big.
huge
It's
dips.
about this tall, for 10 cents.
And
And their milkshakes were
really-
a quarter, but
Yeah.
they were jammed with ice cream, absolutely jammed with ice cream.
You had to eat them with a spoon, and nobody else had ever made a milkshake that was that thick before. That was
Never. Never.
really special. So we would do that sometimes on weekends.
Yeah, and we'd drive my Cat's Meow, which at that time was my 1950 Ford convertible, chartreuse in color, with a Hollywood muffler and fender skirts, and it was the Cat's Meow.
So one night I had gotten off the bus and was on my way down West Lakeview, and this jerk in this car takes a spotlight and puts it on me. As I start walking down the street, I thought, there's no way I'm responding to this. So he yelled, "Hey baby, come over here." And I still ignored him completely.
By the way, I'm the jerk.
So he was trying to pick me up to see if I would respond, and I didn't.
And she wouldn't. She kept her head over to the side and walked right on down. I was very happy that she would do that. But I had the old spotlight on her.
That was a fun moment. So one day in the hall, after classes were changing, he walked up to me and stood about this far from my face and said, "Can you go to a square dance with me Saturday night?"
And what did you say?
I sort of backed up. I said, "Yeah, I can do that." And that's all he said. He turned around and walked away. He didn't really.
I said, that'd be wonderful. Certainly I would have said that to you. I don't think we thought about
We
it
didn't think about that.
being compatible. It just kind of, everything went naturally with us. Just seemed just seemed natural.
It was many, many years later when our daughter was out of college that she did the Myers-Briggs test, and we took it as a whole family. Everybody in the family took the Myers-Briggs, and you're sitting there and answering all these questions. Well, there's 8 categories, and you're either an extrovert or an introvert. You're either, and it goes through all these 8 categories.
It's all about your personality.
And I am an ENFP out of those 8 categories. And he is an ISTJ, which means that none of the 4 things that are me have anything to do with the 4 things that are him.
So we are totally and completely incompatible.
The only 2 things on the whole chart that don't have anything matching. So if you look at it from that point of view, we have nothing in common. And sometimes we look at things very differently.
Totally.
I mean, he thinks this way, and I think this way, and they think, what's wrong with this picture? So we have to kind of sit down and talk about it. It doesn't come in between us, though. The one thing that we've done ever since we start dating is to go to church together. That's the cement, as far as I'm concerned.
That holds us together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Belief in God together.
And if we don't have an answer, we look in the Bible, and the Bible gives us the answers. Before we got married, we had to go to class with a preacher that married us. And I remember him saying, you're doing this before God, and if God is in the middle of your marriage, it will always work. If God is outside of your marriage, it hasn't a chance. And I just always kept that in the back of my mind. You know, I think sometimes you have to make it work. We've had some rough times.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. We're all human.
Set your priorities, and your priority is God first. We've gone through some rough times financially, but if you always put God first on your budget book, everything else will fall into place. It's a miracle how it works. You would think, mathematically, things would not work out. But when you start paying the bills and so forth, all of a sudden, everything works out. So money is not the important thing in life. It's so secondary or 3rd or 4th place.
You're one. You adapt to the other person. You adapt your own. You put their desires before yours, which makes living a lot easier. Anyone that has to put themselves first is not going to be happy whether they're with somebody else or not. You agree with that?
Yeah, we coordinate our time frame. Whatever we're doing, we have schedules. We're sitting in the car, and I said, now close your eyes. I've got something for you. And I took her hand, and I had this paper clip that you slide into a 3-ring notebook, and then you fold it back over. And I slipped that on her finger. I said, okay. And she opened her eyes, and she looked at that and started
I cried.
bawling.
I didn't bawl, but I cried.
At the time, I didn't think, actually, if we want to get right down to it, what I was doing was testing her.
Oh, you were not. You tell the truth here now. Tell the truth now.
Testing her because I didn't want her to think, that she was marrying somebody that was rich, And I was just testing her.
Oh, you were
actually,
not.
she didn't go for that too well. And I went home and I was telling Dad about it. Dad said, "You get out of here and get down and get that girl a ring." So I had to.
So we were engaged because his father said
Yeah,
so.
he really got after me. So I went down and got a ring at Rogers Jewelers and made it official.
June 23rd, 1957.